بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. We are still talking about the same verse شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان, a guidance for mankind and clear proofs for the guidance and the criterion. We talked about the hidayah, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this verse indicated to the Quran. And Quran is the most important thing to do in Ramadan. That's why it is highly preferable to do Qiyamul Layl in Ramadan. Not like the rest of the year. It's preferable as well, but it will be very preferable to do it in Ramadan. And the beginning of the Qiyamul Layl was when the Prophet ﷺ started doing Taraweeh in Ramadan individually. Then the companions noticed that, so they start coming and praying behind him. One day, then second day, third day, the Prophet ﷺ noticed that a large number of people start gathering and people start calling each other to pray Taraweeh behind the Prophet ﷺ. Then he stopped praying for them. Why? Because he was scared that it might, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala might make it compulsory on the ummah, and then it will be difficult for us to do it. So he stopped praying with them, and he advised them to pray individually in the houses. This is what the Prophet ﷺ did. And when after the death of the Prophet ﷺ, Abu Bakr was the Khalifa for a short time. And on his time there were a lot of the munafiqun, the hypocrites, and many people tried to leave Islam. And he was very busy controlling these issues, and he didn't have enough time to focus on issues like this, Qiyamul Layl, and which looks smaller comparing to the issues that he was dealing with. Until a time of Umar radiallahu anhu, everything was settled, and then Umar looked at this issue, and he believed that the Prophet ﷺ stopped leading the people in Qiyamul Layl Taraweeh because of a reason, and that we mentioned in the hadith, that he was scared that Allah will make it compulsory upon us. So now it will not be compulsory, because the time of tashri', the time of making the issues halal or haram, permissible or unpermissible, not permissible, is gone by the death of the Prophet ﷺ, which means if we can do we do the Taraweeh together now. So Umar gathered the companions to do the Taraweeh behind Ubay ibn Ka'b radiyallahu anhu ardah. And that's why many scholars like Ahmed ibn Hanbal and other scholars believe that it's preferable to do Taraweeh in the masajid. Why? Because this is the sunnah of Umar and the companions. And actually this is based on the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, or the understanding of the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. The second opinion of Malik and Shafi'i, they said it's preferable to do Qiyamul Layl, whether in Ramadan or outside Ramadan, in the house. It's better to do it in the house. As all the nawafil, highly preferable to do them in the house, not in the masjid. Al-Layth ibn Sa'd, one of the fuqaha, and he was very famous in his time. He had you can have a kind of mixture of these ara or opinions. He said, if the masajid are empty, no one prays in the masjid, then we have to pray in the masajid, because we cannot stop the sunnah of Umar bin Khattab and the companions. But if the people pray in the masjid and the masajid are full, then it's okay for you to pray in the house with your family or individual, as this is something preferable as well. How many rak'ah we have to do in Ramadan? The best is to do as what the Prophet ﷺ used to do. He used to pray 11 rak'ah, long 11 rak'ah. Actually, he used to finish sometimes Surah al-Baqarah and An-Nisa and Ali Imran in one rak'ah. So if you want the proper sunnah, then this is the proper sunnah. To do the whole the 11 rak'ah, but long 11 rak'ah as the Prophet ﷺ did. If you cannot do so, then you can do either 11 rak'ah, a short 11 rak'ah, or you can pray like the Salaf used to do. As Ata said, one of the Salaf pious predecessors, he said, I found the people praying 23 rak'ah, and some of them used to pray, this is at the time of Malik, 36 rak'ah, 36 rak'ah. So, 39 rak'ah. So, there is no limit for Qiyamul Layl, because it's nawafil, and the Prophet ﷺ said, Salatul Layli mathna mathna, praying at night is 2 rak'at, and if you are scared that the Fajr time is very soon, then pray 1 rak'ah witr to finish your Qiyamul Layl, which means that you can pray as much as you can. But the sunnah, if you can pray 11 long rak'ah like the Prophet ﷺ used to do, then this is what you're supposed to do, and this is the preferable action. فَمَنْ شَهِدَ مِنْكُمُ الشَّهْرَ فَلْيَصُمْ. So whoever of you sights the month, i.e. sights the moon or the crescent of the first night of the month of Ramadan, he must observe Siyam. This verse, or this part of the verse, abrogated the previous verse according to the majority of the scholars. You remember that we mentioned that when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made the Ramadan compulsory at the beginning, He made it optional in terms of the person can either fast or pay compensation, fidya. So if you can fast, this is better. وَأَن تَصُومُوا خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ, and if you fast, it's better for you. But if not, then you can pay fidya. وَعَلَى الَّذِينَ يُطِيقُونَهُ فِدْيَةُ طَعَامِ مَسَاكِينٍ. For those who find it difficult to fast, they can pay fidya. This is the explanation of the scholars. There is different opinion of explaining this verse, but this is the majority of the scholars say that, and they say this part of the surah, فَمَنْ شَهِدَ مِنْكُمُ الشَّهْرَ فَلْيَصُمْ, whoever sees the crescent of the month and should observe Sawm on it, abrogated the first hukum rule, and it becomes compulsory upon every individual to fast, except those who have exceptions for some reason, like say ill people, traveler, etc. We're going to talk about them inshallah soon. Those are still exempted from this verse. How do we see Ramadan, or do we fast Ramadan? Prophet ﷺ said, صوموا لرؤيته لا تصوموا حتى تروا الهلال. Do not fast until you see the crescent, and do not break your fast until you see the crescent. So the first thing is that we have to sight the moon. If we see the moon, the crescent, then we have to fast. And seeing it either by a large group of people to see the moon, and this is very highly acceptable. If not, then 2 people will be enough. 2 trustworthy persons to claim that they have seen the hilal, the crescent, is enough to fast. Actually, this is what mentioned in the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ said, if 2 shahida adlin fasumu aftiru, if 2 trustworthy bear witness that they've seen the crescent, then fast and break your fast according to their vision. And this is for beginning of Ramadan and the end of Ramadan, the crescent of Shawwal. But beginning of Ramadan, the scholars said that even one trustworthy person will be accepted, because the Prophet ﷺ was told by Ibn Umar that he saw the hilal, the crescent, and the Prophet ﷺ commanded them to fast, and he fasted ﷺ himself, which means that he accepted the witness from one person for the crescent of Ramadan. And if we cannot see it for any reason, like for example it's cloudy, then we have to complete the iddah, i.e. to complete Sha'ban 30 days. فَأَكْمِلُوا عِدَّةَ شَعْبَانَ 30 يَوْمًا. Finish Sha'ban 30 days. This is the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. The last day, which is the day of shak, doubt. It could be Ramadan, it could be Sha'ban, 30 of Sha'ban. It is not from the sunnah to fast that day as the Prophet ﷺ commanded us not to fast 1 or 2 days before Ramadan, except for those who used to fast regular fasting, then they can do that. And actually Ammar said, whoever fasts the day of doubt, then he disobeyed Abu al-Qasim, I mean the Prophet ﷺ. And Ibn Abbas and Abu Hurairah said, do not join Sha'ban with Ramadan. So as if they're saying you have to divide, you have to put a barrier between them. So fasting the day of shak, doubt, is not from the Sunnah. It's against the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. Can we rely on calculations? Actually, this is one of the big issues. It's still discussed. It's still discussed, and the scholars still talk about it. It's a long issue, and I think it's going to take more time. We are now in year 1441, and which is 2020, and we still have some research regarding this point, and the scholars haven't agreed about anything. Actually, the disagreement is everywhere, but they are considering the calculation of the size of the moon, and they are discussing this issue, and it's slowly taking place in the between the opinions of the scholar. There is different opinion. There are different opinions in this issue. Nobody can claim ijma', that consensus on it, either to accept it or refuse it. But generally speaking, it is a bit early to accept it, especially that what is the astrologist claim that, or say that they can tell us exactly the exact minute that the crescent is born. But the issue is not that we know the time when the moon or the crescent is born. We need to know when it is possible to see it by the eye. When it is possible. I'm not saying that we see it, but when it is possible to be seen, this is an issue that is not agreed upon even between the astrologists, and still different opinions between them. Some of them claim that it can be seen after 9 hours. Some of them, they say up to 20 hours, I think. But generally speaking, it's still too early to give a final decision regarding this point. But there is an opinion of some scholars of Shafi'iyya. They said if all the astrologists agree that the moon is impossible to be seen on that specific night, or it's not born in that specific night, according to their calculations, which is a very, very high, they have very strong type of calculation system. So if they say it's impossible to be seen, or it's impossible to be born on that specific night, and someone comes and claims that he saw the hilal, the crescent, then we cannot accept his witness. Why? Because he is one person, and his vision is not a certain. It's something not 50-50, but acceptable if there is no there is no rejections. Like in this situation, we have a very strong calculation that prove that it's impossible to see the crescent, and one person claimed that he saw it. We cannot accept his shahada, his witness. Why? Because we have a very big doubt now in his witness. And as I said, I can't give any final decision regarding this point. It's still under researching. But at the moment, we have to follow the moon sight by the eye, or we can use some kind of machines that will make it to see the crescent. But basing or accepting the calculations that used by the astrologist is too early to claim that is acceptable, but it's still discussed between the scholars. And at the moment, we tell the people to rely on the normal vision, the eye vision. That is what we have to follow. There is another issue as well to mention here. If a hilal, the crescent, is seen in one Muslim country, should all the other Muslim countries follow that, accept that vision and start their fasting, or every country should rely on its own vision? And there is a different opinion. Majority of the scholars say if the hilal, the crescent, is seen in one Muslim country, then the whole ummah must follow this vision and accept that vision and fast, observe fasting according to that vision. And actually this is a very nice opinion, and we hope if the ummah is gathered and follow at least gather on one issue, all of the ummah should fast and break the fast in one day. We hope so, but it's difficult. Practically, it's impossible. The second opinion that some scholars said no, every country has its own vision. Actually, if the moon is seen in one country, not necessarily can be seen in the other country. Some of them said no, if the moon is seen in one country, all the countries on the western side of that country should fast as well, but the other countries which is in the eastern side shouldn't fast. Different opinions, and at the moment these opinions will not take place anyway, because people follow their countries. This is as simple as this, and we advise people to fast with their countries, except if that specific country do not follow an authentic way of sighting the moon, i.e. sighting the moon is a political issue that is used by the rulers or the government politically, not Islamically. In this case, we cannot follow these people, because those people are following their desires. But if they follow an authentic way of sighting the moon, then we have to follow our country, and it's better to gather the people on one, at least in one country, on one opinion. The Siyam has pillars, arkan. One of them is the intention. We have to have intention before the beginning of month of Ramadan, and it's preferable to have it every night, and it's not compulsory according to the Malikiyah. And when we say having intention, we are not saying you have to mention or to pronounce or to say the intention. The intention is to believe in your heart that you are going to fast. As simple as this. You do not need to mention anything. Second thing is the time. The time is important as one is a pillar. So you cannot fast at night. You have to fast during the day. Fasting only at night is not acceptable, but you have to fast during the day, and this is the time of fasting. Although also abstaining from eating and drinking and all the issues that nullifies the Siyam is a pillar as well. Otherwise, the Siyam will be affected. Or conditions of the Siyam, one of them, or conditions of wujub al-Siyam, conditions that makes the Siyam compulsory. Al-Iqama, being resident. Because a traveler is not compulsory upon him to fast. Reaching the age of puberty, the person, the young, the children it's not compulsory upon them to fast, except if you want to help them and to guide them, to teach them to fast. Insane person, the mad person, is not compulsory upon him to fast, because he cannot have intention, he cannot, he's not commanded by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He's not part of those people who should worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And also the ability of fasting is a condition as well. Why? Because the ill person is not compulsory upon him to fast. Menstruating women shouldn't fast, and even she fasts, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala not accept her fasting. Islam, being Muslim, is a condition of a Siyam. And if the non-Muslim fasts, his fasting will not be accepted. The days of fast should be acceptable days, because if someone fasts in the day of Eid, his Siyam will not be accepted. So generally speaking, we have to have these intentions or these conditions and pillars to meet. Have to meet them if we want our fasting to be accepted. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned that mention again the ill person and the traveler. He said, and the traveler and the ill person. We talked about the ill person in the previous verse, but we didn't talk about the traveler. The traveler is the one who is set on a journey. Is not compulsory upon him to fast. This is agreed upon, and it's mentioned by Allah in the Quran, and the Prophet ﷺ said that in the Sunnah. إن الله وضع عن المسافر شطر الصلاة والصوم. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepted or made it exempted the traveler from fasting. So when the person is traveling, then he not necessarily for him to fast. It's optional for him to fast or to break his fast and make up other days. And when you say travelers, that we mean the person who started his journey, not still inside the city. If he's still inside the city, he's not a traveler, he's still a resident. And that's why if the person wants to travel in the morning, for example, he cannot have the intention to break his fast from the night. He can't break his fast, until he leaves the city. And if he's still inside the city, he is not a traveler. Majority of the scholars said if he's traveling to do something impermissible, is not halal, then he cannot break his fast. He cannot use this easiness, this rukhsa, because he's traveling for something haram, ma'siyah, and such a people shouldn't given any easiness or exceptions in their fasting and their traveling. What is traveling? This issue is very famous, very popular issues. That is, the disagreement in this issue is very popular with the scholars. Many scholars or many opinions are said in this issue. Majority of the scholars say the distance of the traveling is 80 kilometers. And the days is to have intention to stay more than 4 days. This is what the majority of the scholars says, and I'm not going to go in details about this issue because it's a very complicated issue. And is it better to fast or to break the fast? We have three opinions. And all the first opinion that it's preferably to fast if you can, even if you're a traveler, instead of breaking your fast and making up another days. It's preferable to fast during traveling if Ramadan if you can, because this is the opinion of Uthman ibn Abi al-As, companion, and Anas as well. They used to say fasting during traveling is better than breaking the fast. Shafi'i did not give priority for any one of them. They said you can break for your fast and you can fast. They are the same. But Ahmad ibn Hanbal and Ishaq ibn Rahawayh, other scholars say no. Breaking the fast is a rukhsa, is an easiness that given from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to us. يريد الله بكم اليسر. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to make it easy for us, or intends for us an ease. So why we reject this? We should break our fast and then make up other days. And that's why Ibn Abbas said that, indicated to that, it's better to break the fast during the traveling, and Ibn Umar as well. And this is when the traveler can fast and can break his fast. But if the traveler finds it so difficult, to fast, then it's not from the sunnah to fast. Actually, it's sunnah to break the fast. If he reaches a situation where he might harm his body or harm himself, then he has to break his fast. That's why the Prophet ﷺ, when he saw a man in a very difficult situation and he was struggling fasting, so the Prophet ﷺ said to him, لَيْسَ مِنَ الْبِرِّ الصِّيَامِ مِنَ السَّفَرِ. It's not from the taqwa, from the piety, to fast when you are a traveler. And he meant that specific situation when the person is about to harm himself. He is in a situation where he might lose his life or lose part of his body, or he might find it so very difficult to fast. But if it's just some kind of difficulty that people find when they fast, it's okay to fast, and especially for those who find it difficult to make up other days. if they some different people they find it easy to fast with Ramadan but difficult to fast outside Ramadan, then the person should balance that and choose what is easy for him, because this is rukhsa, this is an easiness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you should balance what is easy or what's better for you. The final point is when the person, the traveler, if the traveler breaks his fast and he arrived to back to his house during the day, or let's say for example a menstruating woman after Fajr she ate the breakfast and everything, then she came out from her period. Do they have to stop eating and drinking to show respect to this month, as some scholars says? No, they can carry on eating and drinking. And this is not a disrespect to this month. It's a rukhsa, it's an easiness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Ibn Mas'ud said, whoever eats at the beginning of the day, he can carry on eating until the end of the day. As if he's saying, if someone breaks his fasting according to authentic and correct proof, or hujjah or reason, then he can carry on and eating and drinking during the month of Ramadan with an acceptable reason is not disrespect. Will not be considered as disrespecting month of Ramadan. Wallahu a'lam wa sallallahu wa sallam ala Muhammad wa alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in.